Hey, everybody. Listen, welcome into the building. Hey, Jersey Girl 68. Girl, that was heavy. It was heavy. I tried, but you know what? I got in the building so late. Um, if y'all know what we talking about, y'all know what we talking about. But I didn't have much time when I did get in the building. But yeah, it was heavy. It was a lot. So listen, everybody. Today I was supposed to have from Love and Marriage DC Sherelle and her husband Black on the show. His name is his actual name is Alfred. But they had a family. They had a family emergency, but listen, pray for them. It's not terrible, but just pray for them. I don't like to tell people, stuff, right? But all I'm gonna say is just pray for them. Is she well? They well as a couple. Come to the show at a later date. But yeah, they had a little emergency. But just pray for them, and they will come to the show at a later date. But guess who is coming, honey? We having a Love and Marriage DC Fest over here. A Love and Marriage DC Fest over here because next Wednesday the Tylers as a couple, Arena and Jamie, they will be on the show. Okay. So we just have to postpone Sherelle and Black. Looking forward to them coming whenever they come. And I told her, don't worry about me. Listen, I'm not going nowhere. Whenever you get here, we're going to accommodate you, okay? And listen, hey, Sandra James, good evening. Listen, everybody. So we're going to have trending topics. We moved this thing around a little bit. And I want to say happy Thursday. And you know what? I didn't know, maybe I did know and just didn't remember that. Today is called Holy Thursday and tomorrow is Good Friday. Okay. So listen, if you believe Holy Thursday, happy Holy Thursday to you. I'm here for it. All right. So let's bring the people. Wait, I'm getting all discombobulated here, right? Let me pull myself together and get this thing running, right? Okay. Hey, Mo. Yes, we getting the peoples over here. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you know what? I love couples. I love Black love. Y'all know how I feel over here. So I love the couples. So yes, for the Tylers, and we're going to get to see them. And I think they have a great family, right? We love Jason, Jamie Jr., and their daughter Brittany, and mama. We love the family. Hey, Diva and fellow YouTube bloggers, we got more information that Ashley Silva is scheduled to be determined later date for Tamron Hall, and we will keep you updated and we'll keep you posted. Well, Robin, look at you got the inside information. All right now, thank you for that. Hey, Ashley going on the Tamron Hall show. Tamron Hall, she becoming like the little she's the syndicated blogger, okay? Because she gets messy over there. Don't sleep on Tamron. Tamron gets a little messy over there, okay? But I love it. Thank you for the info there. I'm gonna have to be tuned in to Tamron Hall because Tamron Hall be doing some interviews over there. But listen, guys, are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to board this train? Y'all know how we do it over here. Your ticket on the train is that like button. Hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. But before I board this train, y'all know what I need. Okay. Yo, what was wrong with she's oh, hey, H Fisher. Okay, I'm getting confused here. I'm thinking you're talking Sherelle from Love and Marriage DC. So yeah, Tamron Hall be bringing it. So listen, thank you, Mo. Come on, I am Leo Aries. Thank y'all guys. Y'all know what we got to do over here, right? And for me to board this train, we got to get a what in that chat? Choo choo! All aboard, everybody! I'm about to board this train so we can get into these hot trending topics, and we got a monthly ticket holder waiting here to get into this train. Hey, Auntie Robin.
Auntie Robin. Y'all, listen, chat. I need a diversion. I need a diversion right now. I just looked up because I didn't put my TV on this show yet, and it's still on the who, my Roland Martin. The people are laid on the floor in the Tennessee House. Woo! The protesters.
It's going down.
Lord Jimmy. Oh man. So I'm gonna work hard to distract myself because I've been going through this all day. But listen, do not sleep on Tamron Hall. What people don't really understand is Tamron Hall is a get down girl. Mm-hmm. The people that she knows, how she moves and how she does her thing. So many people were used to seeing her in her news mode. When she talked about her friendship with somebody like Prince, and the other people and how she moves. She's a homegirl from the Himalayas. So let's keep an eye out for her. And let's do this. Choo choo.
Choo choo. Hey, Sebastian says, listen, Sebastian, everybody. Sebastian, I couldn't find it. So you're gonna have to help Diva out. But everybody, Sebastian has a channel. So Sebastian, listen, welcome aboard. Throw your channel in the chat. You know, Diva, help me out. Throw your channel in the chat so the people can follow you. But welcome aboard, Sebastian. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so throw your channel in the chat,
I
Sebastian.
will.
Okay.
I want to say this about Tamron.
Yes.
Wendy Williams walked so Tamron could run.
Wrong.
Let me finish. She and Wendy at the same time were the only two black women on daytime TV for a long time.
Jack.
So as soon as Wendy left, she upped her game, and I'm glad she did because it was getting boring and
That's true.
started being shady, started throwing mean shade, and I'm glad Tamron did because now I actually like her show. That's all I gotta say. I'll be
Well,
back.
you know what, Sebastian?
Can I help you out though?
You can. Give me 1 second, Robin. You know what, Sebastian? I'm not gonna lie. I agree with you in the point that you're saying. Tamron Hall was a little bit boring. She was, and I've been to her show live too. She has changed around her format somewhat. Because she calls the guests in and she gets really shady. She's a acceptable Wendy Williams right now. She really is. Like when you see her interviews, she did it with Shine. Remember, Shine was a part of the whole P. Diddy crew, and he went to jail for years and he got deported back to his country, blah, blah, blah. Who? When Shine came up on the Tamron Hall show, Tamron got so messy with him, but he's so mature and so articulate. He redirected her the entire interview because he was not going to talk about Diddy and go back to that night, that tragic night, and everything that happened and how much trouble he got in. And he didn't hate on nobody for all of those years that he spent in jail. But if you check out her interviews lately, they are on the messier, classier Wendy Williams style type of interview. Let me welcome into the train, then I'll come back to you, Robin. I am Leo's Aries. You're in the building. I'm glad you got your ticket. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Diva House, the panel house, everyone. Hope everyone is well.
Doing well.
Okay. And yes, Tamron wears beautiful clothes. And can I tell you something? In person, she is absolutely flawless, beautiful, great personality. I've been to her show. Okay. So go ahead, Robin. What would you like to say?
I'd like to start by saying I'm hoping that we excuse me, that we can come to a point where we don't have these comparisons from like one person to another. Sebastian, I respectfully disagree when you say that Wendy, whatever did, so Tamron could. Understand that Tamron, both of them are credentialed academically in broadcast journalism. One started on radio, the other one been on TV since she was in college. We remember that for the majority or the beginning of Tamron's career, she was in news. So the way that she presented herself on camera and the way she even interviewed was quite different than what you can do with a talk show that is about pop culture and things that are outside and not hard or not that if it bleeds it leads stuff. So I want us, because we have been so. I'm feeling kind of political, but we're so polarized, and we insert this polarization and these teams, and we want to raise this one to go above the other without just taking a moment to just give the one person, evaluate them on who they are, where they are, and where they come from. That's just how I'm feeling today.
I evaluate Tamron very well.
Different tomorrow, but I'm in my feelings right now. I just need to share that with you.
Okay, I evaluate Tamron. I do put her on a pedestal for being a great journalist, and she does that court TV thing. She's great at that. But the thing is, this is a TV show hosting thing. This is a daytime show where you interview people and bring them on. Where she lacked the shade. She lacked all of the previous years. But now
all he's saying is that she
She's
had a
improved.
different
She's
style when she
improved.
first did the Tamron Hall show.
She's
And she,
improved, and I'm giving her
and
kudos because I actually
yeah.
watch her show now, and I think her show is better than the Sherry show.
And you know what? I get what Robin is saying because she is bona fide journalist with journalist chops. I don't know if anybody remembers Scott Baio. Us, gray haired folks may remember Scott Baio from Charles in Charge.
Yep.
He was on an interview on the Today Show with Tamron, and Tamron gave him that business word for word, and she let the sister show. She showed a slip that day because he was coming for her, and she had to let him know, look, I do this for real. You can't mince my words. I know what I'm talking about. And I can appreciate her evolution into a little bit of the mess because it does make her more interesting. But
Yes, it does.
I think everybody can drive their lane. She can create a lane for herself outside of just the messy celebrity gossip. She need a little bit of that to keep us all entertained, but she don't give up her journalistic chops. She still will come for you if you mess with her. She will.
Yeah. So all right.
She got Portia together, and I was glad she did.
She did, didn't she? She gathered Portia because Portia was on. She said, "Girl, you will not come on my TV show and lie to me today. Not today, Satan. You will not."
So listen. We got off the track already, but it's okay.
Already? I just got here.
No, we didn't. We have a good segue. Michael K. Williams was on the Tamron
we
show.
do have a good segue. I mean, but sometimes that happens and it's all good, right? It's all good. So we'll get back on track here. And we're going to do our trending topics. Smoke, thank you for coming and joining the train ride tonight. Okay.
Yes.
And we're about to pull this train out. These are our riders tonight, guys. I'll say thank you to all tonight. That's right. Let's get a choo-choo. So, tonight is a little the topic's a little serious to start out with because it's about this fentanyl crisis. And it's just so very sad that this is going on right now. I never, I how do I want to say this? Well, here's the thing, right? When people decide that they want to sell substances and they want to sell them on the street, so to speak, it always how do I want to say this? Like it always, I don't get how their conscience doesn't get to them, right? That they're selling this because they don't care who they sell it to. They'll sell it to a kid, they'll sell it to an adult, they'll sell it to a pregnant person, they'll sell it to their friend's mother. They really don't give a darn who they sell it to, right? And it's just, and to me too, listen, at the end of the day, and I'll jump a little bit and say when it comes to Whitney Houston, it's like, well, you can sell to a star like that. It's like you don't have no conscience. You're going to sell to anybody. But it's like, I just wonder sometimes, do they wake up at night and just feel anything for what it is that they're doing? So I was kind of shocked to hear that Coolio, they finally told, they came out, and let me just see if I could find it. They came out and told what the cause of his unaliving, because YouTube is very sensitive with the words. And matter of fact, guys, being sensitive with the words, can I tell you, last night my show got flagged. Conversation, but it got flagged. I think it really got flagged because I think I showed too much of that Karamo clip, but I'm still okay with it because we had such an amazing conversation as a result of that clip. And that's why I'm like, I love when we have, great, authentic conversations, but just be careful with your words as we talk about these different conversations today, keeping that in mind. So they said Coolio's cause of unaliving is, they told us what it was. And they said, Coolio's cause of unaliving has been revealed by some news reports. The Gangsta Paradise rapper passed away at the age of 59. That's young, okay? Especially me being 53. I'm like, good gosh, 59 at near the end of last year. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Coolio died from a fentanyl overdose. I had no idea that he was even struggling with substance abuse, like none whatsoever. So the performance manager and spokesperson told the trade, Acuna indicated that the rapper had traces of heroin and methamphetamines in his system as well. His manager indicated that Coolio's previous history with asthma and cigarette smoking also played a role. So I'm not really going to go deeper into this because my real conversation is about, it's just so sad, the substance epidemic that has plagued our world forever is just very, it's just so sad to me. So I brought that up to also add to this particular story that also we have, if you remember Michael K. Williams, and let me just go to pull up that particular article, because Michael K. Williams, so they was determined to find out who sold Michael K. Williams the substances that he had that ended like his life, right? So finally they had found the people, and those the dealer actually pled guilty. So a Brooklyn, substance dealer pleaded guilty Wednesday to providing the wire actor Michael K. Williams with fentanyl laced heroin, causing his unaliving. The guy pleaded to a charge of conspiring to distribute substances, was entered into the Manhattan federal court. Sentencing was set by the U.S. District Judge Ronnie Abrams for August 18th. He'll face a mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison and a possibility of as many as 40, right? So, but what was crazy to me is, and that's a case people don't remember, that's Michael K. Williams there. And everybody, all the people in the industry that knew him said he was an absolute sweetheart. He never hid the fact that he was struggling with dealing with substance abuse. And the actual dealer said that even after Michael K. Williams, passed away, they still continue to sell these substances on the street. And, people who deal with, substance abuse, alcoholism, all of these things, people say, oh, just go to rehab. It's so simple. Michael K. Williams had been to rehab several occasions and just still couldn't seem to kick the habit. I think personally that they need to do more in terms of, helping these people. We do a lot in healthcare, what they call preventative measures, right? They want you to go get your mammogram, your colonoscopy, have a yearly regular exam with your doctor and take your blood work. I think they need to, on a higher level, tap into people that have substance abuse and really try to help them out. This is one thing that really breaks my heart. And in addition to that, I really wish that all of these people, whether they're first-time offenders, second-time offenders, or whatever, like they get the book thrown at them for spreading this stuff on the streets, and that they get a minimum 10-year sentence for trying to distribute and sell substances on the street. That's just the way I feel. So that way, it's not no joke. You get caught, you are found guilty, you will serve a minimum of 10 years behind bars and have an opportunity to think about what you are doing. Okay. I saw that. Okay. Another cast member from The Wire just passed away too. I was so sad to hear about it. I don't think you gotta just remind me. I don't think that particular person though it had anything to do with substance abuse.
No,
they had a heart attack, right? It was
Lance Reddick. He had like heart disease and coronary disease.
Yeah, he had like heart and coronary disease. So we'll start to talk about this topic. I saw Nikki, you raising your hand. Go ahead. I'll start off with you.
Me?
Hey, Jan. Yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to, I heard you guys talking earlier about Tamron Hall. I've never ever even watched her show. But what you were just talking about with Coolio, I believe, and the other actor.
Yes.
Both of them was, shocking to me. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about substance addiction.
Yes.
Because a lot of times people call it substance abuse, and it is, you are abusing a substance, but
Right.
you're usually doing that because you're addicted.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I think like movies, in a way, they go to one extreme or the other, and people believe, they kind of buy into, oh, well, if you're addicted to whatever substance, you must be, you know, doing the absolute most, have no life, you're uneducated, you're unintelligent. People apply a lot of labels to people that have substance addiction problems. And the thing that bothers me about the conversation, I feel like, is I've worked in, I'm a social worker and a therapist, but I've worked in social services for 20 something years.
Wow.
And when you work, especially with children and families, a lot of times you got to give the parents an opportunity to get off drugs or, you know, go to rehab or whatever. But what I learned very early on was, you know, you have a year, let's just say, that they're giving you to get your life together. And, you know, you have people that really want to. They really want to. And I had many instances where it's like court ordered for you to go to rehab. But then the rehab would say something like, well, Jane Doe, her levels of, let's just say, Oxycontin or whatever it is, isn't high enough. So we can't take her in. And so people think just because, oh, well, so-and-so wants to go and get well, that they can. It's just, it's a falsehood that people put out there. The other thing is too, if you're in a circumstance where you don't have a good home to go back to or a good environment to go back to, you're just going to end up in the same unfortunate cycle. I mean, I work at a hospital, and I was working with a lady today, and, you know, part of my role is to like discharge people, you know, and help them with services and referrals. And I'm trying to tell her, we can help you go here, and here's some places you can go, and da-da-da-da. And the lady literally the whole time was just like, I'm just trying to get back to the crack, and I'm not going to sign none of your paperwork. And, you know, this is her struggle, and I'm not going to argue with her. You know what I mean? I can give her all the information that I want, but I understand that she has an addiction. And until she can get the right amount of, I would say, help and thorough help to stay on that journey, because it's very, very difficult. And a lot of people think too, I just wanted to touch on the fentanyl thing. I had like 4 surgeries last year. I was sick all of last year, but I remember going to the hospital one time because my abdomen, it was just, I was in so much pain all the time. So I went to the ER, and I remember the doctor or nurse or whomever that was coming to give me some medicine. He kept telling me, he was like, I'm putting this Benadryl in here with this fentanyl. I never even heard of fentanyl before this man came into the room. And all I can remember is, there's 2 things. One, I remember the pain starting in my head and leaving my entire body. I remember that. That's number 1. That was shocking. I was just like, oh, because, you know, I have been in pain for so long. And then the other part I remember is, I've never done a drug in my life, not even weed, but I was just like, I'm not a crackhead, because I just wanted to go to sleep and be woke. And I was just like, you know, so after that, I was like, I will never in life allow someone to give me that. But at the time, I was in so much pain that it was just kind of like, yeah, sir, whatever you want to do, you know, we could do that. But it is unfortunate. And I think too, like, unfortunately in this world, because like I said, we romanticize it in movies where we make people think it's really like that, and that's that easy. And that if you just try hard enough, or if you let people hit their rock bottom, when they don't really, a lot of times people don't understand like what dope sick is, which is basically like, if you get off of the alcohol that you've been addicted to for 30 years or whatever substance you're using, you feel like you're going to die, and you could.
And you have withdrawals and symptoms too.
Correct. And you could actually die. And so a lot of times the people aren't really struggling with, they don't want to have this substance so much. It's like, I don't want to, if I have to go and feel like this again, I don't want to do that, you know, once they're physically addicted. So it's just kind of like, how do I get to the next?
It's a vicious cycle.
It is.
So Nubian Mahogany, what happens is, once you're monetized and your video gets flagged, then that video is demonetized. So that's what happens. But if you get flagged too much, some other things can happen. It's a lot. So
can I go next?
Yeah. Yes. Give me a minute, Sebastian. Yes, I will let you in. So, but here's the thing. You said a lot of stuff in there, right? So one, and Shan, you might be able to remind me, because the name is slipping my mind right now. They started this program to help addicts, you know, get off of the substance, right? And it is, they give it to babies that are detoxing too. What is the name? What is the name of the program, Shan? It's another medication they give you to help wean you off of being addicted.
Methadone. Methadone.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whoever said that. So they had this program where somebody came.
Sometimes they do Librium too.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you know what, Newbie Morgan? It's okay. But I really, because you know what? If you were here last night, I think you were. The conversation turned so authentic, and it really touched my heart in a lot of ways. And the way that people shared, it was worth it to me. It
I
really
wish I
was.
was here.
Wait, what happened last
No,
night?
we're talking about last night. I don't want to get too far off the track. Yeah, we're talking about last night because I got my video got struck last night, but because I used a part of the Karambo clip. But I think I used too much of it, and because I was sitting back thinking I'm watching it to myself, and I let a lot of it play. But it's all good. It's all good. Things happen.
So Diva, just real quick, but so that doesn't happen again. I heard other YouTubers say you can only play a video for 30 seconds or less. I think that's what I've heard.
Yeah, but I played more before and didn't get strike, but it's okay.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, they came up with the methadone program, right? And that was like a band-aid on a situation. Now, I don't want to go too far down that road, but I guess, at least they were trying. And the other piece of that is that, yes, you can, when you withdrawing on your own is dangerous. That is why during the pandemic, they did not close the liquor stores. They said it was essential. And the reason why it was essential, because they knew that they would have a crisis on their hand if there was an alcoholic out there and they wasn't able to get their alcohol. So yes, withdrawal is a real thing. Withdrawing on your own can be deadly and dangerous because your body will go through symptoms and you can almost be gone off of this earth if withdrawal is not done in the right way. But that is why what rehab is not just about getting you off of it. It is also helping you through the mental piece of it so that you understand that the other side of this is you may be sick for the moment, but staying on it is making you sicker. So Sebastian, I'm coming to you. What are your thoughts?
First, I want to say I've always held the opinion that drug dealers deserve way more time in prison than they get. Way more time.
Yeah.
But we also have to acknowledge that it's a business. And who powers the business? The customers. If you decide to keep on constantly buying, they'll just keep on constantly supplying. I personally do believe that this fentanyl crisis is not being talked about a lot. A lot of people have been unalive due to it. To a lot of people, I think like just last year, there was like 100,000 people who just died, who unalived from just fentanyl. And I do think because colleges are starting to now do Narcan training with like their RAs because of this whole crisis. So this is just outrageous, and I feel like it's not being talked about as much. The fentanyl is going too crazy. And I was watching a video, and it can unalive you within seconds of just like even just being in front of it. It could unalive you in just seconds. A little, not even a big amount, just a small.
It's deadly. It's deadly. So here's the thing when it comes to, what sometimes what breaks my heart when it comes to certain medications and people thinking that it's that easy to get addicted. The thing is, when it comes to being in a hospital, right, and you're in pain, some people are so afraid to get medications now because they're thinking, I'm going to get addicted. It doesn't really work like that, and it doesn't work that easy. And when you are an inpatient in a hospital and the doctors write orders for a pain medication, they're writing it for levels that you may need in the beginning, but they also have a cap and they also wing it off. And they also, according to protocol, it doesn't mean that your pain is going away, but they also, according to protocol, after a certain day, they reduce that level of pain medication down to to maybe some Motrin or Tylenol, whatever, they're not going to leave you on levels where you can get addicted, because that's just not what we're in the business of doing, right? So, and it's a shame. We always have to talk to patients to say, no, ring your bell. Like, if you're in pain, I need to give you some medicine. And we do now give medicine. I'm saying I don't work in the hospital anymore, but we did give medicine, especially we wanted to make sure you was medicated right after surgery, because now the whole thing is, before, like years ago, even when you had a baby, you might have been in the hospital 4 days, 7 days. Now the max is 4 days, and they kicking you out because they don't want you to get another infection as a result of being in the hospital. So when you have a procedure, they medicate you up so we can get you up out of that bed, walk you around, get your system all back to normal, whatever, and get you out of there in the least amount of time possible. So you don't get another infection by being in that hospital and laying in the bed, so forth and so on. So,
and a blood clot.
Come on, man, talk to the people. So
you know what, too, just to piggyback off the medicine, a lot of these narcotics, they're PRN medicine, they're as needed.
Right.
So we'll say, what's your pain? So you're not going to get Oxy-10 if your pain is a 3.
That part.
So we do a lot of scaling to make sure. So it's not easy to get addicted, and it's not easy for these medicines to be accessible to you. Unless you have a prescription too.
Right.
And we wean the IV off after a couple of days, start to get you used to the oral medicine before you can, go home. Because you're not going to go home with the IV medicine ever. So
ever. Come on, Shan.
They take precautions.
Yes, we do. So, it's just, and so, and when people hear like this stuff out in the streets, they come in the hospital and they want to sit there and lay there in pain. And you don't have to suffer in pain. We're not going to get you addicted. Okay. This is not, and let me tell you this too. What's saddened me too is the Michael Jackson situation and the Prince situation. Prince, see, money trumps everything, but I don't want to get too far off the track. Prince would have never had those prescriptions that he had, and I'm mad that they went after the Michael Jackson doctor, but they did nothing to that doctor that was giving Prince all of those prescriptions, and he was highly addicted. But I went off the track a little bit. I am Leo Aries. What do you want to say about this in this conversation?
I actually, years ago, it's probably been now 12, 13, probably about 14 years ago, I dated a recovering addict. And that experience taught me a lot about addicts. And it's something within their brain, I'ma say, in my observation of an addict. He may not been actively using. He probably had been clean, I guess, about 6 or 7 years by that time, but he still had addict behaviors. And so he still was, some addict behaviors can be, a lot of addicts are extremists. They do things in extremes. And he's still in a bit of narcissism. But anyway, he was still being treated in therapy, and he still went to NA meetings, Narcotics Anonymous meetings. And his drug of choice was cocaine at the time. And he will tell you that even at 7 years sober, he still had cravings for that drug. It's something that didn't ever go away. So I'm not quite sure about when it comes to drugs and when it comes to addiction, it's not about the supplier, it's about the demand. You can put as many drug dealers away as you want. The demand is still consistent. They will get it some other place.
So go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just feel like treatment is good. But it wasn't even, he was a functioning addict. He wasn't like in the gutter. He wasn't stealing his mama TV. He ran his business. But the more money he brought in, the more money he ran up his nose. So, that was his deal, that it was, he was on the road. He felt like he was in purgatory. He felt like he wasn't moving. He felt like he wasn't living life at its fullest. So that drove him into therapy and to rehab, and he relapsed probably 10 times before he actually missing his, all kinds of things come into play. Missing his kids, that never watching them being raised, someone else raised them. All kinds of things went into play with him going into rehab. And I just feel like it's such a complex, layered issue about addiction that the criminal justice system cannot fix. People are broken in this world. People are broken. And it's just one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Diva.
Go ahead.
So, people are broken and people are in misery. And I'll never forget one thing he told me. I think we were watching something on TV. Once again, TV be messing your head all up. One person watched another person get high and fall on the floor. I don't know, it was like injecting heroin or something like that. And they fell on the floor. And the next person went to search for what it was that person just injected themselves with and injected himself with it. And I said, why would you do that? When you see somebody look like they just dropped dead in front of your face, why would you go and inject yourself with the same thing that they did? And he said that an addict, that's what they want. They want to numb all pain. They don't want to think. They don't want to do anything. And when they see someone else drop, they don't say, wow, that's dangerous. They say, I want what you got. And I will never forget that.
Yeah. Team Ruby, addiction is a disease. So let me say this. I do get a lot of what you're saying. But here's the thing I want to add to the conversation, and I'm going to go to Shan. There are zoning and listen, I'm not an expert on this, so I'll just give you the piece that I know. There are zoning issues in every state, every town, or whatever, right? So if you live in one town and you want to open like they call it, and it's interesting, they call it spirit store, but we're not going to go down that path right now. Spirits, the alcohol, but it's the spirits and the addictions and all the other things that get attached to you by drinking this, but I don't want to go down that path. But it's interesting that they call a lot of these liquor stores like spirits and that, right? So, but if you want to open a spirits or alcohol store, a liquor store that only sells alcohol, whatever the case may be, there are some towns where if there's already one in the town, they're not going to let you open another one. Now, the supermarkets in the town can carry the alcohol, but the town won't let you open another one because there's already one in the town. But then you go to and listen, people, I tell you all the time how I grew up or whatever. So stick with the conversation and not maybe some of the words that I'm using, right? But when you go to quote unquote the hood or the ghetto, you can have 3 liquor stores in the one town and they don't have a problem with it. So there's a lot of stuff that is intentional, and it is intentionally happening in certain areas in certain neighborhoods, right? So my thing is, I do get what you're saying about the supply and the demand. But it's interesting to me, and I don't want to go to, a different cultural thing, but it's interesting to me that the demand, the supply is highly located in certain areas.
Speak
so
on it.
It can be stopped, but do they want to stop it, right? So I live in New Jersey. In New Jersey, it might have been like 3 weeks ago now. It was in a very prestigious area. 5 young ladies was passed out in a mall parking lot because they all had some fentanyl lace, whatever. It was all over the news, and they said they wasn't going to stop. They wasn't going to stop until they caught the people. And I said, well, ain't this something right here? Because the people are dropping every day in other areas, and don't nobody try to find out who did it to them. But now here we are, these 5 young ladies in a prestigious neighborhood, and go find the people. But I'm just saying to myself here, I sat up, I said, this on the news, they're gonna go find the people. They want to know who gave this to them. Wow, that's interesting, because the people over in my spot, they on the ground walking around like zombies. There is one area in Jersey, it is Newark, New Jersey, and there's Newark, New Jersey. There's a certain area where the people are walking around looking like zombies. Well, why aren't we concerned? But over here in this other area, The people passed down, and they gonna find out who did this.
But the thing though, if you notice, like if you just take
Nikki, give me a minute though, because I really gotta let Shan jump in. So Shan, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
I just heard about this story, and I think it's very sad. I think there needs to be more education. I agree with what Sebastian was saying about, the supply and demand aspect of it. I think it's just very sad. I agree with everything everybody's been saying, and you've been speaking on it, right? You know what's funny? When I was in high school, one of my friends was like, I had went somewhere, and I was like, damn, there's no, like, McDonald's here, right? And she was like, and I never thought about this ever, but she was like, oh, they don't have McDonald's in this neighborhood, right? I was new to, like, New York and whatever. And so then I started looking. She was like, you have to look at your surroundings. So I go to some places and I see yoga studios, Pilates. And I go to other places, I see McDonald's, Popeyes, Burger King. And I'm like, so you're telling the absolute truth. And it's crazy how there's more done for, we know how it is though, There needs to be a change. I don't know what the change is. And that's really sad. There definitely needs to be more. I think there needs to be more patience with people who are addicted too. Because a lot goes into it, like Nikki was saying. So yeah.
But the intentional nonsense playing in our face has to stop too, because you added another layer to the situation. There are certain neighborhoods where you can find Popeyes, McDonald's, Burger King.
Yep, next to each other too.
White Castle.
Diva, I'd like to say something.
Trackers.
Okay, you got to give me a minute, Sebastian. I'm gonna
No problem.
You find all of that stuff there.
Next to each other, girl.
Next to each other. Dunkin' Donuts. I even seen some fast food things that I never heard of in my life. And I'm like, yo, that's here? Okay. But then you ride through the other town, and like you said, you see Pilates, yoga, all types of, you see the Trader Joe's, the whole
juice bar,
all of that stuff, right? And then
just salad.
Yeah. And so my dad lives in Harlem, and I will say this: they brought the Whole Food there, but they brought the Whole Foods there on a whole contingent plan. They got all types of grants and money and all of this to put the Whole Foods over there on 125th Street in Harlem. I promise you that. But don't get me down this path because I get emotional. And it's like, my thing is, it's intentional, and it's not fair to us, because every time there's a situation, we're starting way back here. It's like they ring the bell for the race, and we're way back there, and everybody else is already way ahead of us. You know what I mean? So it's just craziness. It's just absolute craziness. And they're like, well, why are they so like this? Well, y'all put all of these things in our face intentionally. And so we gotta fight all of this just to start out on an even ground. And so our areas are oversaturated with these substances, and nobody's concerned about stopping it. But the minute it slips into another area, they shutting that thing down ASAP, and you don't hear about it no more. Now, do you remember what was that other substance? I want to say it was K2, something like that.
Isn't that fake weed?
Yeah, well, when they had that K2 epidemic and it touched other neighborhoods, they shut that thing down with the quickness. They called it a whole epidemic, this and that. They didn't call the kids drug addicts. But I'll go on. I got to come back to you, Sebastian. Smoke.
No problem.
You're in the building. What do you want to say?
Yeah, pretty much everything everyone else has been saying that, and I witnessed this up front. I didn't even realize it with certain people in my family. It's a lot deeper than just wanting to feel good. Like, some people may have physical debilitations that are so painful that just the bare thought of just waking up to go to the restroom is a challenge in itself. And so they get on these things that help to alleviate that, but unfortunately they don't know how to shake it off. And it's like you watch them struggle with it, like they don't want to do it, but it's just like, it's they rather choose, do I want to be in pain every waking moment of my life, or do I just take this thing here and just subdue it for like an hour or for the day? And just that is the feeling that it gets to. And you know, it is a multi-layer. Like, I don't think it's just something with not only with just the resources as far as like getting certain people off the street who are administering this. And we have to think about this. It's not just the people that's on the street that's doing this. It's also those people in the white coats in your local supermarket or the pharmacy in the CVS or the Rite Aid that is still giving the same thing to these people, knowing that they have a problem and they can see it. But because, a doctor wrote a prescription, so I guess I got to give it to them, or even they'll shop it around. So there's certain mechanisms that are not in place to catch. I don't think their mechanisms are not strong enough to catch people who abuse the system, who are trying to get certain things in their grasp. And so I think that's an issue as far as like the doctors, whether they're on the street or in our stores. The resources of people who may have mental or physical debilitations that depend on it. So it's just a lot of other things. It's so many different things at play, and it's just like when you try to get a hold of another one, then another thing kind of runs rampant, and then you're back to square one. So it's just heartbreaking, and it's even heartbreaking for the families because I didn't understand a lot of the conflict that was going on with a certain individual in my family and their child. And I was just looking like, wow, they are chaotic. And then come to behold, like, this is what this person was dealing with. They're trying to get their parent off of certain substances. And it's like, you're not want to be dealing with that at 14, 15, or however you're as old, and that it continues into your adulthood. So it runs disastrous. And even to answer your question, Diva, because, you know, I'm from Jersey as well, and Diva is absolutely right. And another layer to that, Diva, is go to certain neighborhoods where it's prestigious. They have fine spirits. When you come to other neighborhoods, it's liquor store. So it's a whole different thing, and it's true. Like in my area, you can find a Popeyes, a McDonald's, a Wendy's, a Burger King, a Subway, a Dunkin' Donuts, all these things within a 1 mile radius of each other. So I think it's unfortunately like capitalism and just other things are the root of all evil. And that's just my opinion. I think like people just look at things as just money. Like, what can we put in the area that's going to pump out the most green, that's going to help us, collect our check and do what we need to do. So it's just a lot of different things. And yes, there is a choice. Granted, I'm someone, I have to go way out of my way for certain choices, but I'm just one person. I can only take autonomy for myself, but it's just like other people may not believe that there's a different way to do things. So they become a product of their own environments. Unfortunately.
Well, let me say this. Addictions are not just substances, right? It could be other things. Because I definitely was addicted to sugar. And I'm talking big time, like sugarhead, a total sugarhead. And so recently I weaned myself off. I think it's been like over 30 days.
Congratulations, boo.
Thank you. But you know what? I don't crave it, but my mind still thinks about it. And that's a powerful thing. Ain't that something? Like, so I don't crave it the way I did. And I was bad with it because y'all know I was the queen of Starbucks. Okay. So so my body doesn't crave it, but my mind still thinks about it. So I said to myself, if that's me with sugar, I can only imagine the struggles that someone that is addicted to substances go through, right? And so to your point, Smoke, and what we're talking about is, the thing is, our whole life is about subliminal messages, right? So now the kids got it a little bit different, right? Because they don't watch regular TV and you got all of these commercials. You stream a lot and you could skip commercials and this, that, and the other. But when I was growing up, it was TV and you couldn't skip a commercial. And so on Saturdays when the cartoons come on, and we used to always watch the cartoons in my house, right? There was commercials. And the commercials sent you those subliminal messages where it was Cheerios, it was Frosted Flakes. Matter of fact, it was more of the sugary cereals that you would see the commercials for. You would see the Burger King commercials. So these are all messages and they set it up so that you end up wanting this stuff. And then you go tell your parents, and then next thing you know, you're eating Frosted Flakes with Tony the Tiger for breakfast. You eating fruit,
Yeah.
which is all laced with sugar. So, and then when you go to the supermarkets, the checkout aisle, they got all those magazines, right? And the magazine covers, again, it's a subliminal message to dictate what you're going to do in life, right? It's to dictate, this is the latest color red is hot this year. You better get red for the spring or red for the fall. Like all
You
of
get
this
influenced.
stuff, you get influenced. Of course you do. So we're influenced indirectly, and that's how it plays a role in who we become. So it's not so much so that these people, come on, Sheila, marketing 101, Captain Crunch. I forgot all about Captain Crunch, that part, Fruity Pebbles. I mean, come on, name the stuff out there. Yes, exactly.
Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms. The candy, Skittles had a commercial. The Snickers got a commercial. So all of this plays into your psyche, and then you go to the supermarket and all the candy, right? With all the bad stuff, when you're checking out, you're waiting in that line, you're staring at a whole bunch of candy, and now you want the candy. You see what I mean? So all of this influences us in a bad way. And all I'm saying is, when it's our neighborhoods and it's a Popeyes, it's a Burger King, it's a this, and now you done saw the commercial, now you want a Big Mac and you want a shake to go with it. And then there's I used to watch a long time ago, I was addicted to Friday night, 2020, Dateline. They used to come back to back. A high level addiction to those shows, and I had to start watching. But anyway, they showed, if you could probably pull it up, they showed what a large fry at McDonald's was way back when,
and what it is now.
That part. And then when they said supersize it, all of that supersizing has got us sick. And then we got to go to the doctor, and then the doctor got to give us a medication, and then we get stuck on the medication versus reversing the illness that we
Then
have.
You have all these side effects with the medication that you got to get another medication.
Come on.
But also, here's the thing, David. It's also a country thing, because I've been to other countries where they've done McDonald's, and I can tell you from experience, it's 100 times healthier than what we get in the States. Just the taste alone, like it's made fresh day of. It's not processed beforehand, and they're not reusing certain things. So we also have to realize the regulation on food in this country, it's non-existent.
The FDA does not
Everything
do a good
is
job.
excess here. I feel like people in other countries, they could, it's like, what am I trying to say? Everything's in excess.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
It is too much. Supersizing
all the time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Diva, did you ever see that documentary?
Wait, hold on one second. Yes, I think I did. Wait, and then like Kat said, the Happy Meal. So now don't just come in for yourself. Come in and get your kids something. Little nice little Happy Meal. And we're gonna put a little snack in the Happy Meal. So all of this is, is what's getting us down that crazy road. Let me see. LaDon, you're in the building. What do you want to add to this conversation?
Hi guys. This is deep. You heard some of my story. I'm a child of an addict. My grandmother had 17 kids, and all but 3 was on drugs. And my cousin in Bridgeport, Connecticut, died 4 months ago of fentanyl. And unalive, sorry. And she was young. She was 32. She had kids. She was beautiful. And growing up, we would have never thought she would even, get into that. But an accident happened. She started taking the Percocets. And once they stopped giving her the Percocets, she started feeling physically sick. She started having physical withdrawals. So then, guess what? She went to the street to get the Percocets. And the Percocets was laced with fentanyl. I grew up in the hood, but I moved later on. When I started having my kids, I moved to, it's suburbia, but it's more middle class, but better than where I came from. And my youngest is 15. And one of my neighbors was huffing. And where I come from, I only knew about crack, heroin, weed, and alcohol. Mm-hmm. So When I moved out this way, I started learning about the other things. You know what I mean? How people are now taking advantage of the ADH medication, the Addies and the gabapentins now, and all that. I even worked in a shelter in a drug program where these clients were over medicated because they would go to different doctors, and this doctor wasn't keeping up with this doctor or touching bases, so they were doctor shopping and they were over medicated, and they would be nodding off at the table. You know what I mean? And it was like, can we talk to the doctors? And they was like, nope, that's not our business, we can't do that part. So we had to just chalk it up. You know what I mean? But I think it starts in their home, as much as you can, because once they go out there, they do what they do, but you have to prepare them. I don't think this is the day and age where you should hide things from your kids. Like when my neighbor was huffing and they had to kick in her door, I pulled up instantly on YouTube and showed my son what huffing is, what it looked like, how they was drooling, and how one of them got brain dead from one huff. Like, don't even take a chance. You understand me? I'm not hiding it from him. What's out there? I'm going to tell him, and I'm going to show him the after effects. You might not make it to the second and third can. It could be that one huff. You know what I mean? I talk to my son about everything, and I let him visualize it and see it. I grew up with all kinds of addicts around me. And when I seen my mother go through what she went through, it was either I could repeat the same thing or I can do different. You know what I mean? Yeah. And my mother passed away because of the disease. Because in the 80s, when people were sharing needles, they didn't know about AIDS. So my mother got caught in that bunch. You know what I mean? So when I see these kids younger and younger getting hooked on these drugs and this and that fentanyl. The fentanyl is laced in everything. It's not just crack and heroin. It's laced in the edibles. It's laced in the vapes and the weed. The 15-year-olds out here done got OD'd over fentanyl in the gummies. The gummies. Okay, so it's so scary out here. This is not the day and age to keep your mouth shut. This is the day and age to visualize, see, talk to them, speak up. If you want to be about change, don't just talk crap behind closed doors. You got to be out there saying something. I get involved all the time. Call me nosy, whatever. I get involved. They call me the popo in my building, honey.
First of all, Adon, thank you for sharing, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I do feel like we all, when I tell people about getting involved on your level, right? I cannot be something that I don't know how to be and do. I can only get involved in my level. Like sometimes, they like this group wanted me to do something. I'm like, listen, I could do the paper, like I could do the flyers, like barely, and I could, help you whatever with that. But don't try to push me in a lane that I don't know nothing about. I can't.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got to help on your particular level. I do think you got to be real with the kids. And I do think no matter where you go and live, like you're probably going to be introduced to some form of it. And that's why, like you said, you just got to give the people knowledge, right? You got to put knowledge out there. You got to pray. And then you got to hope for the best at that particular point. Someone I missed, I ran over the comment, but I want to add something to this comment. Somebody said, sometimes like the people in the white coats and doctors, they be pushing the meds too. I think that when it comes to traditional medicine, they're given what they learn, right? And I think that what we have to do is, until you know better, you may have to go by the traditional medicine, but you got to do your research and understand how foods and at my late age, I'm doing this now, right? Understand how foods and everything we put in our body, it impacts our body, right? So you have to start to learn how to treat your body differently so that your body can do what it was built to do. Okay. Our bodies are built to regenerate and heal itself, but it can't heal itself if we're clogging up our arteries with the fried food, the this, the sugar, the this, the that, the whatever, right? And I do believe, I'm no expert on this, I do believe that if we change the way we eat, it will help our bodies, and we could probably be on less medications for any ailment that we are currently going through. One of Rocky mistresses, oh, that's funny.
That's cute.
That's cute. Thank you for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. Remember when people were literally fighting that part over Popeye's new chicken sandwiches? That was crazy. It was totally insane. It was
That was the blackest thing I have ever experienced in my life. We really sitting here selling out Popeye's chicken in every neighborhood and fighting each other when someone else got it. I'm like, I'm done.
Done. That was totally insane. So yes, so believe it or not, this whole Wegovy and Ozempic craze that's going on right now. So my doctor was talking to me. Now, I love my doctor, and I'm not going to say the doctor's name, but I love my doctor. But when my doctor first started, was so just, into holistic, just, was very, just neutral. And then when my doctor became well known, I believe they got swept into the whole wave. And then next thing I know, every time I went, it was pushing some type of medication to resolve one of my issues. Versus prior to that, they were always into go do this, go do that, go
holistic.
Out, that part. And then
I left my doctor because of that. I left one of my doctors because they was pushing all this medication, and I did not like that.
Yeah,
I understand it, Diva. I understand.
I know, that's fine. And I was so shocked because I'm just like, wow, you changed. Like when you first started, this was not even you. Like, where did all your morals and all of that go? I don't know. I really felt that way though, because that was like, that's not her. But go ahead, Nikki. Let me read this. Adrian H. Jane says, small things. I went to brown rice, sugar. Yeah. Flour. No, I hear you. And you know what? And you take things one step at a time. One step at a time. And I've been taking this one step at a time. And listen, I pray a whole bunch because I gotta tell God every day. Because sometimes it's a habit that you're used to doing, right? I gotta tell God every day, don't help me not go to Starbucks today. Because I'm used to it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm used to it. You gotta help me. And if I
used to be like that with Dunkin' Donuts. I used to get Dunkin' Donuts every day. And I know me, you have this debate, but Dunkin' Donuts is more affordable and better.
I can imagine when Diva's driving her car, the Starbucks be like, Diva. Diva.
We miss you. Yes. DJ Dad said, oh, wait. I kicked off by mistake. She said, you have to do your research. I truly believe that the herbs in the earth are here to heal our bodies. I believe that. And I'm doing a lot of that now. And I'll keep you on my journey. But so far, I lost 10 pounds and I'm keeping it off. To God be the glory. Amen.
Can I just say this real quick?
Yes. And then I'm going to come to Nick. Go ahead.
Sorry, just real quick.
No, sure.
You said a key thing about one step at a time, moderation, wean yourself off. That's very important that people realize. You have to take it slow, wean yourself off. Because if you just cold turkey stop, then you're going to revert. Like me, I still get Dunkin' Donuts all the time. But when I get my iced caramel latte, I tell them, okay, don't put 3 pumps of caramel.
Right.
Put 2, you know?
Yeah.
So, right. Yes. Okay. Nikki, go ahead. What did you want to say?
I can't. I love it though. There's like 15 things I wrote down. So I'm gonna just go through real quick. I know earlier you were talking about, why they have certain things in certain neighborhoods. I used to work on different task force, and that was part of my problem when I was much, much younger in college, where I would be like, I go to a Black university, and there's a white university, University of Houston, literally across the street from the hood university that I supposedly go to. But it's vastly different. Like even the exit that you take to get to U of H is completely different. They don't want you coming to Texas Southern University. But to your point, it used to anger me that I'm like, why don't we have like a Walmart, just a big general store where people could get, things for cheaper? What we have is the convenience store with the dusty Cheerio box. You know what I'm saying? And it's so much more expensive. And if you know, the people that live there don't have transportation. Guess where they're not going to ever get to? They're not going to ever get to the Whole Foods, or I don't know where you guys are from, but like Kroger or Randall's or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then the other thing you were talking about with the police, and I don't know if you said police, but the thing that came to mind is if you live in Beverly Hills, those police are going to be a completely different type of police than the ones that live in let's say Compton, and how they talk to the people, how they approach Mr. Hilton for the people that watch Beverly Hills, and how they approach John Doe. It's the way they're going to approach you, how they're going to talk to you is going to be completely different. And then the other thing I wanted to say, you guys were talking about like health, and I feel like doctors haven't been a person. I told you I was sick all last year. What I realized is that doctors, in my opinion, they're taught medicine. So that's what they're going to try to. They're not taught to cure you. They're taught to treat you. And what does medicine do? It treats you, right?
Wait, say that part again. Go ahead. Doctors,
from my experience in the last year and a half that I've had on this journey, is that doctors to me are taught medicine, right? And if you think about it, just like everything else, that you're practicing medicine. So it's a practice. You're still learning no matter what, right? But they're taught to medicate you. They're not necessarily taught to treat you, right? If you want to get, I feel like, treated for a lot of the ailments with food, you want to go to a dietitian, because they're going to tell you, this is what you need for your thyroid. This is what you need for, you know, stomach acid. This is what you need. Doctors are going to tell you that. They're going to say, oh, take this pill, this, that, or the third. I wanted to say too, caffeine is like one of the most addictive, aside from sugar, one of the most addictive products on planet Earth, and everyone knows it, which is why on my way home, I was like, I'm allergic to caffeine. Let's start there. I'm like, they didn't put a Starbucks. They took out the Frosties or Friskies or whatever that meant. He made good custard. They took his place out and put Starbucks. I was just like, but I know what you mean by Starbucks, even though I don't, you know, I'm allergic, because they had a Krispy Kreme in my neighborhood, and they used to have this light. I don't know if y'all know about Krispy Kreme. They had this light, and it just says fresh or hot or something. Listen. It was really ruining my whole life. But I will say this. In the last month, I decided, February and March, I decided I want to change my life because I was sick. So I changed my diet really, and I lost 23 pounds in the last month and a half. And everyone's like, what is happening to you? But it's just like, I'm like, if I'm sick, I have to figure out how to fix me, because I feel like going to the doctor, if it's not on a test, if it doesn't show up on a blood test or the thermometer, or they can't see it on the MRI, they honestly don't know. Honestly, to be completely honest with you, if there's not something ringing a bell telling them this is what it is, that's what I learned, you know, with doctors in the last few years. But I did want to say that, you know, regarding like zoning and stuff you were talking about earlier, it's very intentional, like what they're doing with the drugs, and why they have the Popeyes in your neighborhood and why they don't have it. Like a rich neighborhood in my area would be like Memorial or River Oaks, or there's lots of places in Houston where there are very wealthy people, and you will find Whole Foods and all that. But I was very excited. There's a very, what do they call it? They call it the Heights now. So whenever in Houston, whenever they no longer want it to be the hood, they say that they are, they're calling it Midtown. Everything is Midtown, right? And so they took over. The only thing I was happy about is because, like I told you earlier, in my 20s, I used to fight and be like, why can't we have a store where the people could afford the food? You know, not just go to the liquor store or the corner store. They need like a regular grocery store. And so I was really, really happy when they decided they were building a Whole Foods in the hood near my old church. But the thing that made me happy is that, I don't know if this is true or not, but it felt like they tried, because they have like Martin Luther King and like murals and stuff like that. So it made me feel like you didn't just insert white America. No disrespect, but you know what I'm saying? It's like
they coming.
This is true. But then I feel good for the people that live there, because now they have access, because once Whole Foods shows up, then now, you know, AT&T can show up, or the other brands that are out there, then they, you know what I'm saying? And they can give more jobs and stuff like that. So I was happy about the Whole Foods in the hood. That's all I needed to say, Diva.
Yeah, and you know this, we could, Hey Juice Radio, thank you. You know, there's a lot more conversation we can have on that. I mean, I know I'm originally from the Bronx. I go to Harlem all the time because my dad lives out there. But I will say this, they had to shut down the what is it? The Bed Bath and Beyond out there on 125th Street, because all the employees were stealing everything.
Oh my God!
They had a Bed Bath and Beyond in Harlem.
That's terrible.
That's shady.
They
What?
They shut it. They
Why
shut.
would they have one in Harlem? I mean, I only been to Harlem once.
But they shut it. They had to literally shut it down. So it's like we're bringing the stuff there, but then it can't stay there because y'all want to act a fool. You know what I mean? They
can't take them nowhere.
Was literally robbing
Make
the
me
store.
sick.
That part of that. They was literally robbing the store blind. Okay, robbing the store blind. So it's like, what do y'all want? Do you want change? Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like,
can I speak to that?
Yes, you can.
The thing that, and that's the thing that also matters me at the same time, because I do understand the systematic oppression that people like us go through, and I understand that. But on the other token, I'm looking like, what we don't even have a certain standard for the stores that are within our community, the people who are from here who wanted to do something different. Like, we're stealing from those people and breaking their stuff up, or terrorizing the people in our neighborhood. So it's just like at a certain point, so how can we, I guess, hold ourselves accountable to our highest standard to do better once we get things, but also fight the systemic oppression that some of us were born into, or that's still ongoing. So it's like, it always feels like we have to choose one or the other. And it's like, if you're on the other side, we're like, well, if you're holding people accountable, well, why you think you smart, you must be white, or you uppity. It's like, it's not about that, but it's just looking like we have to hold ourselves up to a higher degree, not for other people, but for ourselves. Because we used to have Black Wall Street. We used to have all these different stores and towns that we used to own. So it's not to say that we can't do it. It's possible. But we've gotten so tricked by this thing of, oh, we want to be a athlete or entertainer, all this stuff, which is great. If that is your dream, that is your passion, go for it. But that's not all that we are capable of being or doing. And I feel like we need to see, and Yana said this best. I'll just go to Yana Vizan. We have to speak high, we have to see higher of each other, and we don't. So that's why we're constantly stuck in this cycle. And someone, I think, put it in chat, crabs in a barrel, where it says like, as soon as someone starts doing good, then we either gotta hate or pull them down, or do
act
X,
like
Y,
you
Z.
better than everybody because you.
I'd like to go next.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like that. You know what? Can I just say this real quick, Diva?
Yes.
Knowledge is so important too, because before I moved out to a nice neighborhood, I thought Trader Joe's was so expensive. I go to Trader Joe's and I spend way less than going to Stop and Shop. No, Trader Joe's, you just think it's so expensive. Whole Foods expensive as hell. But Trader Joe's is very affordable. A lot of the stuff there is organic. You got to check it out. Trader Joe's is really good. I used to think it was so out my price range, but it's very affordable there. So a lot of people don't know too, you know?
You have to. Let me tell you something. I shop everywhere. I go to ShopRite. I go to Wegmans. I go to Whole Foods. I go
Stop and Shop.
I don't have too many Stop and Shops by me, but you want to know what's interesting? So the town that I live in, one town either way over is a ShopRite for me. Now, the one ShopRite I go to sometimes, it depends on what I'm getting, because it's in a certain neighborhood, their sales tax is 3%. Which is less than the ShopRite in the other town, right? So, and that happens in a lot of in the cities, right? Like you'll have the same store, but because it's in what they call like a lower area. Can everybody go on mute? Because I'm hearing a background in a certain neighborhood. So you'll have where they have that town is 3% sales tax because it's considered in the city, and the same store be in another town and the sales tax is the regular state sales tax, right? So, but when I went to the other ShopRite one time, because the ShopRite in the one town, they open a certain time. The ShopRite that's in the city is 24 hours. So I went there because I knew they was going to be open. When I went there and I went in the produce section, there was rotten fruit. It was a whole hot mess.
Come on now.
And so I went to the guy, and it wasn't his fault, but it pissed me off. I went to the guy and I was like, look at this. Like, this is rotten. And I told him, this is messed up. This is messed up, because I was just in my other shop, right? And it looked like I was literally in a garden, in a farm. Okay. That's how beautiful the produce looked. So why is it over here in this shop, right? The produce is rotten, is looking a whole hot mess. And don't tell me because the people ain't buying it. Like, I'm not going for that right now. And it was just a whole hot mess. And then literally I go to the other shop, right? And I'm in a whole nother world. And it's even brighter. I swear to goodness, maybe one day I'm going to take a video for you of the two different ShopRites in the produce section. Okay, one is brighter, it's like while you in Disneyland, and the other one is like you at the local carnival with the Ferris wheel going around and around. I'm like, this is insane, right? And then when I spoke to the manager giving me the side eye, talking about, yeah, we gonna get it, like, but I'm like, no, this is just so not right, right? So it's just a big difference. And like I said, maybe y'all just gave me a video to do. I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna show you how the one ShopRite, and then that one ShopRite, when you go to get the shopping cart, you got to put a quarter in the thing and to get the shopping cart out so you can go in the store. So if you don't got no change and no quarter, you can't even get yourself a darn shopping cart. And the other one, shopping carts, you just go get your shopping cart and go in the store. Like,
All
you know
these
what I mean?
is like that.
So it's messy, the differences, but all of those little things, people may think it's not a big deal, but it plays on your psyche and your mental, right? And so you have these people in one neighborhood thinking like you subliminally treating them a certain way, even by just the fact that I'm paying a freaking quarter for this shopping cart. And then I go to my other shop, right? And it's Disneyland. And everything's great, and you know everything's clean, and the aisles are clean, and the store is clean, and the other one, the store, the floors is cracking, and everything else. It's a whole hot mess. It's messy. That's all I want to say, right? So, and I feel it's just that
Let
is
me
just,
tell you why.
and I feel it's all intentional. Go ahead, Robin, and then I'll come to you, Emmanuel.
Okay. Thanks for letting me cut in. My internet is acting up. The difference between the ShopRites is that some of them are corporate stores and some of them are what they call family-owned stores. So probably the one that's all funky is the one that's a family-owned store. Where I live in the Bronx, there's a fairly new ShopRite, and I was excited that it's in the neighborhood and it's updated. And I remember going in there, not paying attention because, I do my little sales flyer. And then when I got home, I looked at my receipt. I was like, wait, why are these prices different? So something as simple as like the gallon of water was costing 99 cents at the ShopRite in Yonkers, but over here it was $1.79. And the difference is, I think because it's they're family owned, it's that thing they call economies of scale. So if you have a larger buying base, you're buying for more, then you can have your cost reduced. And I think that part of what happens is, I think that they do two things. One is, I believe that they over inflate the idea and cost for profit and loss, right? Because they just like that bed and bath and beyond that close, because people come in stealing, no matter who it is, they steal. So they build in some extra costs for profit for loss. And the other thing is, I think for too much, especially in the poor neighborhoods, they give you something that's shiny and new. It can be cost prohibitive, but unless you go to community planning boards, you don't know if that's an anchor that's going to do something and be part of another revitalization plan that's going to get you kicked out the neighborhood, because we saw that happen in Harlem. So that's the answer to that part. And then I just think that people who have lesser means and income are behind a rock between a rock and hard place because of pricing. So if you don't have a car, you can't drive to this supermarket. You go to the neighborhood supermarket, and you're gonna pay, like, instead of getting your Cafe Bustelo 4 bricks for $13, you're gonna pay about $7 for 1 brick of Cafe Bustelo at the local store. I went to the CVS one day in my neighborhood, and I needed water, and they charged $3.99 plus the 5-cent deposit for 1 liter of Poland Spring. So we can't get ahead, but I could go on, but that's the answer about the ShopRite.
Jersey Girl 68. You know what? I didn't even really connect Jersey Girl. I should have, right? But my girlfriend lives that way. She lives in Howe. But going towards that way, there are a lot of nice shopping spots or whatever. So when I'm on Route 9, this is a Jersey Girl, going to her house, like I'm passing the Wegmans, I'm passing the Whole Foods. You know, you're talking a whole different, you know, situation. And I want to say, what's that darn Freehold Mall? All right, Jersey girl, we connecting. I'm hear you. Emmanuel, you're in the building. What are your thoughts?
Hey guys, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, we was talking about just the whole fentanyl crisis, and you know how that's everything that's going on with that, and how they just need to do better with that. And I'm 2 seconds from moving into our last topic. Do you have anything you want to say?
Well, I think y'all were talking about like medicine and stuff like that, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I came across a clip the other day of this lady she ran for president, and I think she's running again. And they were on the debate stage, and they were talking about the healthcare system, because you know that's a pretty big topic of conversation. And when it was her turn, she was like, "Well, this country doesn't have a healthcare system; it has a sickness system. We wait for the people to get sick, and then we debate about how we take care of them. But why aren't we talking about what is the cause of these chronic diseases that we see so much specifically in this country? Why don't we talk about the policies in the air we breathe, the policies in the food that we eat?" So I think the conversation needs to start there rather than waiting until people get sick and then trying to figure out what to do with them. And because you know there's a pretty big market for big pharma. So that I was thinking, I wonder if maybe it's a good thing for them that these celebrities are getting Ozempic. Maybe that's more money in their pocket, you know? So,
Can I
yeah.
speak to that as well?
No. We gotta wait because I gotta let Natasha in the building. She just got here. No,
Okay.
the thing, the Ozempic is a whole nother level of crazy. And the sad part about that is in that Wegovy, the sad part about that is the minute is no different than any other diet craze that goes on. The minute they stop taking that medication, they go right back to where they was or even worse. And nobody's talking about that yet because they have yet to really address the people that stop it and are talking about it and saying how big they got once they stop taking the med. Listen, when it comes to just your body and weight and all of that, until you learn how to do that thing without a fad diet and do that thing the right way and mentally learn how to eat right, exercise, and put all of those things in sync, you will be on a yo-yo roller coaster. But we all want a quick fix. And that Ozempic and that Wegovy is a quick fix that has a nasty end result. Natasha, you're in the building. What do you want to add to this conversation?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I've been on the show before, but it's been a while.
Okay.
I just wanted to speak. I'm from California, and I live in San Diego, and I live in kind of a hoity-toity neighborhood.
Okay.
And I mean, you go in my grocery store and they have wine tasting tables set up and cheese tables, and everything is $8.99, $9.99. And you go to, well, we have like Food for Less or Sprouts or Henry's.
Okay.
And it's like you said, it's like Disneyland. Everything is nice. But on the other hand, it's like some people have to learn how to shop, because I live in a nice neighborhood, but I have no problem going to the 99-cent store because I've seen some of the same food in the 99-cent store. So it's just sometimes you have to know how to shop, and just because it's in a good neighborhood doesn't mean that it's gold. You know? So I just wanted to speak to that because I just left the store today and I was like, this is ridiculous. Everything is expensive, and you know, you can go to, we have a Food for Less. It's the same stuff that comes out of a Ralph's or a Vons and they just transfer it to another store. It's the same thing.
Presentation is everything though. Yeah. And I do find, because I store hop. Now I do find out we in my house, you know, just, you know, my son drinks Pellegrino, I drink Pellegrino. So the case, because we like the bottle, I don't like the plastic bottle, I like the glass bottle. The case in ShopRite is I want to say it's up to $21.99 now. And over there at the Wegmans, which is a higher expensive store, it's $16.99.
Right.
So, but the thing is, I learned about some of these stores, they catch you, right? Because some items that you want will be cheaper in that store, but then the other items are higher price. So it depends on how you want to do your gas and your driving and what you getting that day. But I get different stuff from different stores depending upon, you know, the price or whatever. But my whole thing is, it's not just about the prices, because I do agree with you. There's a lot of things that are the same. I'm talking about the overall presentation of it. So when you
Can I say this real quick? I'm sorry.
Yes, you can, of course.
About the presentation, I've noticed that you go into the, you know, Food for Less or the Aldi, and it's like sugar in the front, you know what I mean? And you go into a grocery store, another grocery store, and they have fruits and vegetables right when you walk in. They're presenting you with that. I've been in grocery stores where they're cutting fruit as soon as you walk in. Oh, do you want to try this fruit, or do you want to? That's not. I have never walked into a grocery store in the ghetto and had that happen.
Never.
It's like, here's some sugar and here's the Kool-Aid packets and here's a cereal.
Yeah, no, you speaking facts. You speaking facts. I'm telling you, y'all just gave me an idea. I'm going to definitely do the 2 ShopRites that I'm talking about. Even the outside of the ShopRites are vastly different. Okay, yes. On the outside of my one ShopRite, you got the plants, the this, the that, all the stuff that you get for the house. On the outside of the other one, there's nothing. But the locked up carts that you got to put your quarter in to get the darn cart. I'm just trying to tell you this is facts, and I'm going to do it. I wonder, Elzepid, well, Fentanyl says everybody who isn't fat or diabetic. Here's the thing, right? And I'm going to come to you, Nikki. I see you. I'll come to you next. Here's the thing. No matter what the medication is, it's side effects. Period, point blank. Even Tylenol, even Motrin, right? There's side effects, right? And on every medication, we probably don't pay attention, but there is a 1-800 number, right? And that 1-800 number, and that's where you get the clinical research people. I don't want to go down this whole path like that, but I'm just trying to give you a little insight, right? That 1-800 number is for people to call, that if you got any side effects from this thing, you call it. That's how they get the side effects from to begin with, right? From the clinical trials, the people that went through the clinical trials with it, but also the people that once it has passed the FDA and the clinical trials, they calling and been like, oh my God, I took 2 Tylenol and my stomach cramped up and I was, whatever, right? So I'll say this, is that the answer to your question is, yeah, it's impacting them, but they rather be thin and skinny than versus deal with the impacts of what's happening to them as a result of this medication. It's just, all medications is just messy. But I don't want to, Nikki, I'll come to you and then I want to introduce my last story. Go ahead.
So I had a few things I wanted to say. I know there was a young man on here earlier, and he was asking about, like, why is it that in our neighborhoods, I assume he's talking about people of color neighborhoods, why we can't like get it together, because someone gave an example of putting a store there. I think you said Bed Bath & Beyond or something like that, and then it got shut down or something like that. I just wanted to say, I think that has a lot to do with, like, it can happen. I mean, we all saw, what's the name of that movie where he said he was the head NHRC, I forget the name of that movie, but he turned everything around, Mr. Clark.
Lean on me.
Lean on me.
Lean
right?
on
so
me.
Even though it's fictional, we know we have it in us.
But that was based on a true story.
Oh, okay. All I'm saying is greatness is within us, so we can do it. I think it has more to do with like expectations and standards, right? So if we expect and we're going to create a standard that this is going to happen, and we're going to keep pushing until it, because like I was saying with the Whole Foods earlier, the neighborhood that they put that in is literally the ghetto. But they're building, what do they call those townhouses, like the 3-story townhouses over there? They're pushing all those people that have been living there for 70 years. And their grandkids is really the problem. But they're pushing them all out, and that's how come the Whole Foods can come there.
But Nikki, I'm gonna let you finish, but let me add this. See, the thing is, we love to say that we're getting pushed out, that we don't get these opportunities or whatever. But the thing is, at some point, we gotta stand up and grab the opportunity, right? And stop blaming other people. So when they're bringing these things in, Why aren't you able to buy into one of these situations? Why have you not yet prepared yourself to get in on the ground level? Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you the honest, I promise you, I'm telling you the truth. When I bought my townhouse, and literally I have the smallest unit in this development, and this is facts. Other people got a fireplace, I do not. Okay, people got 3 bedrooms, I have 2. You understand what I mean? So I'm just telling you, I bought the smallest unit. I have the smallest unit. But in addition to that, I literally darn near put $1 down. That was more than $1, but you get what I'm trying to say. I literally darn near put $1 down on my house. So my thing is, when people say I can't, they stopping us, they this, they that. No, you really stopping and blocking yourself. It can be done. I had a girlfriend told me one time that I had all of these privileges that she didn't have an opportunity to and this and that. I said, girl, you call a student loan a privilege? No, you could have took out a student loan just like I did, but you chose not to. So don't be trying to look at me now like I'm acting as if all of this and that. No, I took out a student loan. No, I went to the seminar that said first-time home buyers, and they told me how to get in my home for darn near $1. So just like I did that, at some point, we got to stop blaming others. We got to rise up and show up and to do the work so that we can get in. I have a friend. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let you finish, okay? But last time I say, I had a friend that, again, this is, in New York, they built up a building. And when they build these buildings, I will say they are trying to push the people out. So they know that as per the law, they had to set a certain amount of those whatever condos, whatever they want to call them, for the poor people, for lack of a better word, right? So they set it aside, but let me tell you, the maintenance fee is where they got you. So they set it
HOA too.
The HOA. So they made it economical, but they knew that the HOA fee was going to knock you out the box. And if you got over the HOH fee, they had I'm gonna call it. It was a board that you had to interview with. Now you paying your money to get in this building. You had a whole mortgage and everything. You had an astronomical HOH fee. And then the board, you had to meet with the freaking board members, and they had to say if you could come in or not. What kind of nonsense is that? Do you know what kind of nonsense that is? That's the nonsense to block you from getting in. But guess what? That brother pressed through. He's my best friend. He's been my friend for over 20-something years. Okay? And he got through, and he went through that meeting, and he went through that board, and they drilled him and drilled him and drilled him. And he said, I ain't giving up because I'm going to live in that building.
And he could keep it.
He lives in that building. So we got to be willing to push through the barriers in the walls to get there. And I only share my story about me putting darn near nothing down on my house, and I've been here for over 10 years, is that it can be done. But are you willing to get up off your butt, do the work, stop complaining, stop saying they, stop saying this, stop saying that? Go ahead.
Amen.
Let me be clear, because I don't know if maybe I came across a certain way.
No, I'm not talking, I wasn't talking about you. I was
but I do just want to clear it up. When I say like they're pushing people out, what I mean by that is I used to go to church in that neighborhood. So I know the people that live there. Like I said, they've been there like 70 years. These are like senior citizens, people that own their homes, but they're old. And like I said, the nuisance is really their grandkids or their great grandkids. It's not them. And what I mean by that is, so that's what I mean by pushing them out. These people have established and lived in this neighborhood. It's not the greatest neighborhood, but they have lived there, and that's their land. But because, like I said, they moved the Whole Foods in, and they moved all of these other things in, and they got 5,000 three-story townhouses. The people either going to get pushed out because it's like you said with those other tactics, or they're going to just buy you out. And it's just like, I don't even feel like holding on to it anymore anyways. So that's the one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say was about the drug market that you guys were talking about earlier. I wanted to say last year I went to Dubai, and I still was sick or whatever, but I was good in Dubai for like 2 weeks. And then I got sick, and I remember going to the ER, and here, if I went to the ER and I was sick or whatever, they would give you Tylenol 3, I think is what it's called, or something like that. And Dubai, they was like, no, you have to get a permission from the government to get Tylenol 3. And I was just like, say what? Like, like candy in America, I guess. And the other thing I want to say is it was very interesting being there because they have a 1% crime rate. So I felt the most safe I have ever felt in my whole entire life. And most of my life, I would say I lived probably, I wouldn't say upper class, but in the nice neighborhoods. Never ever felt comfortable leaving my Chanel bag on the table to go outside to take a picture. But in Dubai, it was just like you didn't even have a, like, I love my brown people and whatever,
but Nikki, and I gotta get Laverne in the building. But
oh, sorry,
Nikki, Dubai has very strict laws about going to jail. So let's be clear on that. Let's be clear.
But I'm just saying, I just feel, my point was,
because nobody's just gonna snatch up no bag over there because they don't play.
But it is. But see, this is the thing. This is the thing, though. Culturally, when I went there, I thought, you know, whatever my opinions were, my preconceived ideas, right, about people being covered up and you can't go out like this. Literally, the hotel that I was in, there's ladies in their Chanel 2 pieces. It's fine. I feel like Dubai is like Vegas. Like, you can't have prostitutes in other parts of the United States, but in Vegas, it's fine. I feel like Dubai is like that. It's not a country. It's of the Emirates. But my point is this. You're right about the laws, but I'm like, I didn't feel any kind of way about leaving anything anywhere. I didn't feel like I had to look over my shoulder. I just felt completely safe anywhere I went. Everything was like Madame this and Madame that. And I get it. It is a bubble. It's a money town or whatever. But it just was something I had never experienced before in my life. And I've traveled a lot. I just was like, whoa.
Okay, thank you for that. Let me
You're welcome.
Laverne, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. You've been trying to get in here. Thanks for stopping through. What do you want to add to this conversation?
Boy, this is a really interesting topic and topics. So, I mean, I could take any one of these topics and just talk about them for, ad nauseum. But one quick thing I want to say, 2 quick points or subjects I just want to bring up. So, Diva, you're in the medical field. You are a nurse. I'm not sure it's sort of nurse, registered nurse, LVN. I'm not sure what kind, but you're in the medical field, right? So I just wonder, based on some other comments from other people, do you believe, as I'm coming to believe, that, as other people have said, that the medical field really is, as someone said, it's really not about, I would say it's not about curing a situation or a illness. It's really about treating it. It's about pushing the medications, because if people actually got cured from these things, then we wouldn't have the field wouldn't be as, I guess, profitable. So I was just curious of your thought on that.
Let me say this, right? We just like every person in the world is not bad. Every doctor in the world is not bad, right? So I'm a registered pediatric certified nurse. Okay,
boom.
Okay, that's what this girl did right here. But what I want to say to it is, some people don't want to be healed. Some people, when you do, first of all, let's just use a diabetic for instance, right? So when we find out that someone is a diabetic, you got to educate them nutritionally. You got to tell them so many things and what they should do and how they should eat, right? You give them all kinds of information on how to lower their A1C and what they should and should not eat. A lot of these people, what they do is they use the insulin as a tool to continue to eat whatever they want. They will even come back and tell you, I know how to adjust my insulin when I'm eating my cake, fried chicken, potatoes, French fries, drinking my soda, and all of that, right? And then you got some of them that will tell you, somebody's noise is clicking. I'm gonna just mute you for a minute, Laverne, while I'm speaking. And then you will have some of them that will tell you, oh no, I've been eating well, I've been doing well, I've been eating my salad and this and that and this. And you know what you tell them? Hold on to that information, because the blood work not gonna lie. So when we get this blood test back and we see your A1C, we're gonna know what you're doing for real, for real. So not every doctor out there is just pushing the medication on you. There are plenty of doctors that will tell you what you need to do when you got high blood pressure, how to lower it. They would tell you to knock off the salt, knock off the canned foods, knock off of this, knock off of that. But you have a lot of people, they want to continue in their path of destruction. And no matter what you say, you're not going to stop them. Okay. Now, I will say this. There are some holistic, because I'm going to one right now. But the problem with these holistic doctors, they don't take insurance and they mad expensive. Now, are
Yeah.
they worth it? They are worth every single last dime. But it's a shame. You could come off of mute because I see you want to say something. It's a shame because everybody don't have access to be paying out of their pocket like that. But I'm trying to, the thing is, I want to live, but I don't want to live where I'm taking 75 pills when I wake up in the morning, where I
That
can't
part.
walk, I can't talk, I can't jump, I can't hop. That's not living to me. So that's why
Right.
I'm so vested in doing this research, and I'm going to this holistic doctor, whatever the case may be. So it's not all about it just being bad doctors. It is a lot about some people, they want you to fix them with a medication. And so now you give them the lowest dose of a medication and you give them all the information to solve their issue. And then when they come back, if they come back for their checkup, you got to up the medication because they're not doing nothing to resolve their problem. Matter of fact, they're doing worse because they think that the medication is a miracle drug and is going to save them and cure them of their situation. So when you go to a doctor, it's a two-way street. You got to want this more than the doctor wants it. You know, and sometimes you got to tell the doctor, this is what I want out of this situation, and this is how I want, and I want to live, or whatever the case may be. The doctor can't want to live more than you want to live yourself. You see what I mean? You got to
Right.
and you got to participate. And it's not easy changing a habit that you've been doing for all of your life. Like once you're in your 40s and your 50s or whatever, to change that habit around is going to take work. But a man is what he thinks. If you think you can do it, you probably will do it. If you think you can't, then you probably won't.
Right. You're
You know?
right. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
And then my second point is just that, and this is probably, I really need to be careful about how I word this because I don't want anybody to think you know, I'm not for the culture, because I definitely am.
Right.
I recently moved from one area to another zip code, just one zip code over. And I can tell you that it is like night and day. I don't have people giving loud parties till 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't have people parking in my driveway. I don't have people leaving out their garbage cans, 3 days after the garbage came by. I'm not hearing a bunch of fights. Well, the stores I go to are clean and like bright. And so I hate to say it, but somebody really got upset with me one time when I posted something, not on your page and not on your show, but somewhere else, where I basically said, you know what, I paid to get away from some of you folks. I really did. Because I'm just not with all the riffraff. I'm just not. And I don't think that people who have more money behave any better than people who don't. But there is something in the sauce, people. People that tend to have more money don't tend to be out there doing all that foolishness, at least not interrupting other people's peaceable, living within their own home.
No,
So-
listen.
It depends on what.
But
I
let
had
me-
to say that.
So I'll let you in, Robin. Give me 1 second. I will say this. I'm connecting with you. That's my favorite word, to say things real easy. I'm connecting with you, and I will say this. The thing is, if you come in my house, right, and I don't live like in no gated community. I don't live in the best neighborhood either. But you know what? I call this my mini mansion. When you walk up in this thing here, even people, when they have to come service, they're like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? Because I turned this little thing. So it's not, I tell people, I don't care if you live in the projects. I don't care if you live in a studio apartment. I don't care if you live in a ghetto. You can still have your situation nice.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you are correct when you saying, like, why do you have all of this stuff on your porch? Why would you want your porch to look nice? Why do you have the couch that you want to throw out? Why do you have the broken car in your driveway? So I'm connected with you, and it is what it is, but it's facts, right? So why can't you make your stuff nice, no matter
It is that.
and how you live, right?
Right. And I don't know what it is where people that tend to have more money, they don't tend to park their cars on the lawn. I'm just saying.
You're saying, right?
I'm just saying.
Wait,
deed
girlfriend,
restriction.
I see
Well-
your baby. Wait, hold on 1 second, guys.
Etiquette.
I'm coming to y'all. I see your baby back there. What's your baby's name?
Oh, my dog.
Yes.
His name is what is his name? Pharaoh, and he is 6 months old. He's an
Not what
American
is his
Bully
name.
XL. He's like 80 pounds. He's 6 months. I've just
Oh
picked him up from doggy daycare, so yeah, I'm that kind of person.
He's 80 pounds at 6 months.
Uh-huh.
Good God. How big is he gonna get?
About 160.
Child. Woo.
American Bully XL. Check them out. They're awesome dogs. They look ferocious, like they're pit bulls. They look ferocious, but they're really sweethearts. They've bred really softness into these dogs, so they look very threatening. Now, I would be afraid if I saw one, and I'm sure most people would be, but they're really sweet.
Yeah, I'm not getting no 160-pound dog, but I'm happy for you. Okay.
Ah,
I'm happy for you. Okay, listen, guys. I'm going to throw in, because literally we are way over time. Let me throw in this last little subject here. And all we're going to do is a round table to get everybody's comments. And then I got to be out of here. Okay. Yes. Welcome to the panel. We're so glad you stopped by, Laverne. Okay. So, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly. All right. So let me present this really quickly. So, I'm not a sports girl. I'm really not a sports girl at all, right? But I happened to be in the gym, and I was watching that. I hope I didn't lose my story here. I was watching the TV that was in front of me, and it was like it was at LSU, was March Madness, and that whole team was playing. I think I lost my story. I'm gonna have to pull it up again, right? And so that team was playing, and so pretty much Jill Biden. I'll just bring up this one. Jill Biden was like, so normally also too, right? They invite, the
winners.
Winners of championship.
The winner of the championship to the White House, right? So Jill, she felt bad for the losing team. And for the first time in history, she gonna invite the LSU girls, and she wants to invite the losing team. Now, where they do that at? Where they do that at? And so
Wait, did she invite the winning team? I didn't hear.
Well, she suggested. She
Oh,
suggested that the winning team should also, the losing team should also attend the White House because they played a good game. Her words, not mine.
Right, that part. So my thing is, and people are giving excuses of this, that, and the other. She doesn't get an excuse from me. Why? Because she is the president's wife. And before you get before the mic and speak to the people, if you don't know what you're talking about, you better ask somebody in that White House. Okay, you better get you a Olivia Pope and have an earpiece in your ear and know what you're saying and say what you're saying. There's no time in history has this ever happened. And now the team that looks brown, they win, and you want to invite everybody. You want to invite, all the losers and all that because everybody played a good game. Well, this is not about a good game. This is about who won. A point blank in a period. And so Sherry Shepherd had a comment on it. She says Jill Biden owes LSU an apology for inviting to the White House, the other side, right? Iowa. So she said the Sherry Shepherd host also defends LSU Tigers Angel Reese, okay, because that was the MVP player of the LSU team against backlash for taunting Iowa Hawkeyes Caitlin Clark during the NCAA championship game, stressing that Caitlin isn't a victim. Okay, so if you don't, because
they always a victim, honey.
We're running late in the hour. I don't want to go through this. This was part of my stories, but my whole thing is that Jill was messy. I'm giving her no excuses whatsoever, because never and never ever in my long-legged life have I heard them say, "Oh, the losing team." So, Robin, I'm gonna just start at the top and work my way around because these are our final thoughts because I got to go. So, Smoke, what are your thoughts on this situation?
I think it's completely willfully ignorant that the first lady made the comment that she did. Like, you should know, anytime you speak, it's gonna get coverage and people are gonna have opinions. And the fact that you thought you would be the conduit to bring these teams together when clearly what was happening, it was just sportsmanship. Everybody talks smack, especially when they're competing with each other. So I think she should have just kept it simple, invited the winning team, and let them have their moment. But now they go into Barack and Michelle's on the south side of Chicago for probably some tea and crumpets, which sounds just as good. But not only, someone said it best, I'm like, I don't even know if we want them going to the White House because they just had an insurrection, so it's not as safe. So maybe it's better if they go to the Obamas versus the Bidens. But I thought that was just incredibly like stupid. Like, why would you think to save that and just think that would be okay? So I'm sorry, you have a doctorate, you have education, and you've been in politics with your husband for almost 30, 40 years. So you know when you say something, it is a soundbite automatically, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So Jill, just talk to Michelle on how to do the job correctly. She did it well for 8 years.
Well, let's do this. She doesn't want to talk to Michelle because this is just my opinion, because the whole time where they was vice president, they did not like that. But anywho. So
didn't they like what?
Jill Biden didn't really like being vice president under Obama.
Oh, really?
I'm just trying to. These are my.
That was his choice. He was given the choice of whether or not he wanted to be VP or
president.
No. This is my opinions, and so my thing.
Okay, I was just stating the fact.
Yeah, your facts. But my thing is with
I got the voice now.
But my thing with them too, right? You know, never really wanted to be underneath the Obamas like that, you know. And so she's definitely not going to go.
I'm connecting with you, Diva.
Come on now, and she's definitely not going to go to Michelle for no advice. Okay, and they took the second billing because you know it was good for the moment, but always knew you're gonna run. You ran, and right now, this is just my opinion. He is not always with it when it comes to Biden. That's all, and that's it.
You're right.
Anywho, Shan, your thoughts?
I'm gonna keep it short because this train has been, you know, and I know you gotta go.
Yeah.
I think she knew what she was doing. It's called microaggressions. It's called conscious bias.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not with the excuses anymore that people aren't woke to what's going on to different stuff. Yeah. There's social media. You're educated. You're this. You're that. I don't know. To be the first lady, you gotta get others' opinions before you just speak. You know, you're the first lady. I don't know. I just feel like she knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing. You know what? Let me tell you something. I love reality TV, and I've been watching it for a long time. And I used to always watch Trump's show, The Apprentice, right?
Apprentice.
And the year I really got sick of it was when the black guy clearly, and his name is slipping my mind right now, clearly won. And that year, Trump wanted to give the winning prize to not just the black guy, but the other guy, because he said the same thing similar to Jill Biden is. He said, you know, but that guy did, the other guy did very well. And
how convenient.
How convenient. And the black guy's he went to Rutgers University in New Jersey. And the black guy said the show is called The Apprentice, not The Apprentice with an S on it, or whatever the case may be. So right. So that part right there. So when she said that, it kind of reminded me of that scenario, being slick, being sly, knowing what the heck she's talking about. Now all of a sudden, when it's these girls' turn, they done did the darn thing. They did. Come on, Jersey. You watched that season, so you know what I'm talking. His name is Randall something.
Randall Pinkston.
Thank you, Randall Pinkston. Yeah. So that year, now all of a sudden, now we should make both of them the winner, right? Because Trump just was refusing to give it to this darn black guy. And that's when I was sitting in my seat and I was like, if he dares not give it to this guy after this guy clearly won. Because they never, if you watch The Apprentice, they never allowed a person to win if they did a task and they didn't make any money for their charity. That Randall raked in the cash, and the other guy darn near had nothing, and he was still willing to let this guy win. But Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this situation?
I respectfully disagree, guys, only because I don't think she did it like she was trying to be mean or she had any ill intentions. She is an educator and she is old. Okay, she's 71. I think that maybe she was trying to say, you know what, it's women's basketball. Let's celebrate that you guys are women. Y'all made it to the finals. Let's both come together. I don't think that she was trying to diminish the other team's victory because I mean they did win. You know, they're the winners. I don't think that was her intention.
Oh, so sweet. If it
And
was the other way around, do you think she would invite the losers?
No.
that's a really good question, but we can't say because we just don't know. You know, we can't, make an argument with a hypothetical. And the girl, she said, "Well, I'll go to the Obamas." They didn't invite her, so why is she compromising them? Now they're probably gonna feel bad that she said that, and they're gonna be forced to invite her.
No, they won't.
But I don't know. I just think that I would have gone only because it is the White House, and I do think it's like, regardless of the politics or whatever, I think it is like something pretty important. It's so I would have gone just for like the honor of it.
Mhm.
But it's the girl's feelings, so whatever she felt was right, I guess. Good for her. I don't know, but I don't think
I
it
would
was
have
like
still went too for like
yeah,
the
Well,
because
exposure.
we don't know. What if
I lost
the
the.
rest
Right, I'm
what if the
sorry.
rest of the team wanted to go?
No,
And how?
first of all, they are still going. I lost the article. I was trying to pull it back up. So the athletic department said they're definitely going to go to the White House, right?
Okay,
But
okay.
I
It
mean,
hasn't been scheduled yet.
this girl has her opinion because this girl, Angel Reese, she was taunted. The other girl did similar stuff as she did. But when
The exact same thing.
Angel Reese did it, is all this backlash behind it, right? So the other girl did same stuff. Even the other girl ended up saying, no, I think they should just go to the White House alone. So even the other girl from the other team said it had to come out and say, no, they won. Let them go. Like, come on. So the other losing team can say this, but Jill Biden is just oblivious and like they worked hard. Well, who doesn't work hard? Everybody who lost worked hard. So then if we're going to celebrate everybody, let's keep the energy up all the time. So
And for all 32 teams.
Yeah, come on, Rob. All right, now go ahead, Robin. You talk because you're right. So all the teams, because they all worked hard, right?
Okay,
But go ahead.
Might as well just invite everybody then. Everybody who plays sports. Sorry to cut you off, Angela.
Go ahead.
So I like to start by saying that I offer and I have no grace for Jill Biden and that statement. I will not let the excuse be ignorance or old age. Joe Biden has been, except for the 4 years that 45 was in, she was with Joe Biden for almost the entirety of his career in the federal government. He was elected to the Senate right before he turned 39 years old. So for 36 years, she's been in and about and around this and the politics. We know that it is an established tradition that the winners of almost every major sport, professional as well as on the collegiate level, get an invitation to the White House. That has been the case. It has always been the case. And if we use the logic that Jill's using, that every one of the 32 women's basketball teams should be invited. What is missing here before I do those facts. Okay, what's missing here are some of the facts that include not only is this young lady, Ms. Reese, an extremely talented player. She is, and her stats are off the charts. I forgot how many games she had. She had a double-double. That means she scored in double points for assists and baskets. I forgot how many, about 40 games. She helped LSU win its very first national title, period. And that is a lot. That's what's missing. The next thing I'm going to say is I'm also not happy that a lot of people are assigning the I can't see you move to John Cena. Not admittedly, my wrestling days go back to Bruno Sammartino. So I'm not with the new people, but as I understand it, that face move where he covers his face, that came from rapper Tony Yayo. So let's put that in perspective too. Always appropriating the culture. Anyway, I say all that to say that I think that Angel's response was rooted in a lot of the experiences that she has had in this year, especially because if you heard what she said, y'all been talking about me all year. You have not given me any slack. You have called me ghetto and all kinds of things. The day before, if you saw Dawn Staley, who was a standout player herself, who is a coach now, she had a press conference and she had to like call out the press because she has a team of Black girls. And they have been talked about so badly that she even called people out. She was like, and you people here in the media, you need to watch what you say in public because my team is not bar fighters, they're not monkeys, and they're not thugs. So when you out in public, watch what you say because people have ears and they come back and tell me. So has been such an assault on, in my opinion, I told y'all at the beginning, I'm in my feelings today. There's been such an assault on Black people in this country that everything seems like a slight and a slap in the face. And this is just up there with that. And given what we know that Angel has experienced, then, that's where it is. And by the way, just as an aside, Angel has a cousin who was on the winning men's basketball team at UConn. It runs in the family.
It runs in the family. But you know what? Traditionally, I don't care if you're talking about the Olympics. I don't care what sport you're talking about. The winners are the ones that get to celebrate at the highest level. So we need to knock it off. So to say that she's ignorant to this situation, I'm not going for it. LaDon, you're up next.
I agree. I'm not going for it. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And not, just with the White House. When there is a competition in a game, the winner always gets something that the losers don't get. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? There's no such thing in the rules that the winner and loser gets the same prize. It just doesn't happen. This is not for charity. You know what I mean? It was for something. Now, if she wants to invite like other people to the White House, do it at a different time, or whatever. But you shouldn't steal the accomplishment that these girls work so hard for, and working hard, rewarding them for working hard. They picked that career. They picked that sport. They said as little girls, I want to be a basketball player. They knew what work went into it. They knew they had to get up early for practice, win, lose, or draw. They knew what it took. So all athletes work hard, but some walk away losers. You know what I mean? And I think the only thing I gotta say is, it's sad to say because I'm not one of those people that like to say everything's racist, but when it is what it is, blatantly. You know what I mean? They were trying to steal those girls' joy, and she messed up. She messed up, and it's just not fair. It's not fair.
Oh, in my opinion, she messed up big time. And get yourself together. You're the first lady, like really. Okay, Natasha, you're in the building. What do you want? What are your thoughts on this situation?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna use my girls, Venus and Serena. I've never seen them win, and their opponent gets their medal or that part. I've never seen Miss America win and her, the runner-up gets her crown. So I'm gonna say, Jill, you're 71.
Come on.
You should have known better. You should have known. Better. How about that? You know better. Thank you.
Thank you. That part right there. Thank you. I appreciate you. I am Leo. Aries, what are your thoughts?
I just want everybody to know when I come on here, I am Leo Aries as my handle because I'm a Leo. My man is an Aries, but y'all can just call me Leo. So don't do all that full throated.
Okay.
And I agree.
Well, you're saving me. Thank you.
Just say Leo. Okay. So I agree with Natasha. She been in the political game long enough to know what she is doing. I will not accept the fact that she did not understand the parameters of what she was into. She know what she doing. She know where she at. She know what she got going on. Only the winners come to the White House. Stop playing with us in our face. So stop it. Stop it. And that's all. I ain't gonna hold nobody up. We've been on here for over 2 hours, and I appreciate everyone.
Yeah, I do too. And listen, guys, this has been an amazing train ride tonight. Sometimes we got to get into some serious topics, and we all did it tonight. And we respected each other's opinion. I'm going to get you on my video on my shot rights, okay? And listen, everyone, thanks for being here. It was an amazing train ride, but listen, choo choo, we got to go. It was a long train ride, but I enjoyed it and I enjoyed y'all. I'll see y'all all next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.